All right, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I am here once again from my closet. No, actually, I am in my closet. Um, actually, it's supposed to be a room, but it's a closet. But anywho, this is Miss Sophia the Diva. Be sure to thumbs up this video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about my thoughts on this week's. I don't know what the hell is going on. I think the world is about to end. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy. So I'm going to be talking about various subject matters that are going on in the world right now. Or things that I may have overlooked from my last Diva Disturb. This is a Diva Disturb 47. So I am going to start out. First of all, that man that they say is our president, Angry Wig, he back in the headlines again. First of all, he is on vacation again in Mar-a-Lago, the winter White House. I just don't get it. Why did you want to be president in the first place? My friend and I were talking today in general about this whole presidency thing and how this man is our president. Like, he's supposed to be leading or acting as the figurehead for our country and representing us in matters of just representing us properly in the world, and he is in fact not. He has no integrity. People lie in his administration. We still have enough evidence for Russia, but we're concerned. We're like, when are they going to do, if anything, about him and his behavior? Because essentially, we don't understand how it is that they took President Obama's Twitter account, gave him an official Twitter account, and they still allow this man to continue to tweet. He's in a Twitter battle, picking fights and pitting North Korea and China against each other right now. Not to mention, word on the street is that this man has signed an executive order that delegates powers that belong to him to the generals, which is how they were able to drop this most recent bomb, Moab, somewhere in Afghanistan, where they claim a bunch of ISIS people are over. I'm with my friend Kashana. Hell, you only killed 36 people, and we really shouldn't be out there killing folk like that. But I understand that, yeah, we need to protect ourselves, but you said it was like 600 folk out there. What's really going on? Then some idiot was on Fox. Bless his heart. I mean, I get where he coming from, because y'all know I'm former military too. Yeah, I don't want to be on the front lines. I'd much rather you just send a bomb. But one dude was like, Trump really shows that he cares about the troops, because he, would rather drop a big bomb instead of, putting soldiers in harm's way. Here's my thing. We all know that when we sign up for whatever various reasons that we sign up for the military, that there is always a possibility we may have to sacrifice up to our very lives. And if he really cares about soldiers, he would make sure that those that come home are very well taken care of. And that's one of my biggest complaints, is that no one seems to care. I work in downtown Long Beach, and sometimes I walk outside and dare near trip over homeless people that are probably vets that are mentally unstable because they suffer from some form of PTSD. Robert McLean had a question. He said, what do you think about us bombing North Korea and putting us in the next world war with China and Russia backing them? It's just going to be like World War II. It's going to have to be. But here's the thing. I think that our president has put us in such a position till even our allies like France and England and other major superpowers probably wouldn't even help us. And unfortunately, what I was also saying about this whole administration that we have now is that they're like a bunch of Neanderthals. Like, they just want to get in there and tear up stuff. And it's like, why? Why would you want to destroy this beautiful planet that we all got to live on? But my theory, once again, and this is about my 5th or 6th time saying this in a video, is the fact that I honestly think they got them colonies set up on the moon already, so they just gonna leave us to just sit here and figure out how we gonna rebuild ourselves so we can look like we've been in Armageddon or something. But I mean, it is what it is. It's sad that this happened. But at the same time, one of the good things about him being elected president is that now people are probably more grateful than ever for someone like President Obama. No, President Obama was not perfect. He didn't always get it right. But at least he had the decency to follow policies, procedures, and protocols. But let me get off of him because my blood pressure is high tonight already. And thinking about this ignorant man makes it get even higher. So, let's talk about who's traveling. Who's going anywhere? Let me tell y'all something. United Airlines is having the best week ever. Okay? I wonder how much those tickets are because my godson is graduating June 2nd. So, and my little sister is graduating in May. Y'all know my money's still short, but hell, I need to get to these graduations. Should I take a chance and fly United? I don't know. So, one of the things, United, number one. A couple of weeks ago, there were girls denied boarding for wearing leggings, but they were flying on someone's corporate pass. Non-rev is what they're called, non-revenue. And I explained this to some of my friends because I was blessed and privileged enough to have parents that worked in the airlines. Business casual, on up is what you should dress. No jeans, nothing with holes in it or tears. You just had to dress like you were going to the office in a business casual environment. You could wear suits and ties if you wanted to, but no jeans were allowed. Okay? So that we get, because that's a corporate policy. Most major airlines, with the exception of a few, have that policy for anyone flying under their corporate guidelines. Okay? Let me see if I got any more questions before I keep going. Hey, Miss Pat. Okay, cool. Flash forward, last week, Dr. David Dow refused to give up his seat because these airlines, which they are allowed to do, I did check FAA rules. As a matter of fact, y'all know the lawyer in me, I have to research stuff. So I was listening, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts called Cocktails, and they were talking about this. One of the girls that hosts the podcast is a flight attendant, and she said that what airlines do, the FAA allows for them to overbook flights, and if need be, they can bump passengers basically to help get their crew. Now, the problem is the manner in which this man was removed from the plane. When we see him, he is all bloodied up, beat up by security or whatever, because they needed to get 4 of their people on the plane. Now, under 14 CFR 250, they have to publicly disclose this, okay? But that's not the one I wanted. This is not the one I wanted. Where is it? Overbooking is not illegal, and most airlines overbook their scheduled flights to a certain extent in order to compensate for no-shows. Passengers are sometimes left behind or bumped as a result. When an oversell occurs, the Department of Transportation requires airlines to ask people who are in a hurry to give up their seats voluntarily in exchange for compensation. Those passengers bumped against their will are, with a few exceptions, entitled to compensation. There's something called voluntary bumping and involuntary bumping. The Department of Transportation requires each airline to give all passengers who are bumped involuntarily a written statement describing their rights and explaining how the carrier decides who gets on an oversold flight and who doesn't. Those travelers who don't get to fly are frequently entitled to denied boarding compensation in the form of check or cash. The amount on the price depends on their ticket and the length of delay. Let me see. And for compensation, there are provisions in 14.250 that tells us exactly how much these people are supposed to be compensated. And did I throw it away? Oh no, here it is. So they have to publicly disclose this. It's supposed to be prominently displayed that, you're going to get bumped, okay? I must have not printed that out, but I think it's 250.9, and there's like up to 400% of your plane ticket is what you usually get bumped up to. However, we got a leak from the CEO as an internal memo. Let me tell you something about these internal memos, CEOs, business people. Don't be sending out these memos and expect it not to get back to the news. It was very heartless. He said, we follow procedure. I don't think dragging anyone from a plane out of a seat is, I don't know. It's just not proper. But either way, that came out. Then, flash forward, after this man has been bloody and beaten, they decide to start a smear campaign. Well, back in the late 90s, he was part of a pill mill, and he got his license revoked up until 2015. Thanks, Cornelius. He got his medical license revoked, and now he can only practice 1 day a week. Well, remember, he said that he had to get to his patients, so obviously that 1 day a week was that day he needed to get back to the daggone office so he could take care of his patients. Instead, he now in the hospital because y'all done beat him up, and I hope he gets paid. Because I don't care what his behavior was, you don't handle anybody like that or allow security to handle it. But I tell you, and then to add insult to injury, y'all, somebody on a flight to Calgary, Canada, done got stung by a damn scorpion that done fell out the overhead bin of a United flight. I'm telling you, Oscar Munoz, you need to step down and resign, or the board of United needs to get ready to remove him from his place because he's giving y'all bad juju. But if y'all tickets are cheap, I might consider buying one. About $100 round trip to Dallas around June 2nd would be good, because I need to go see my god baby graduate from high school. Amen. Okay, so let's get off of United. Aaron Hernandez, who is a former NFL player and convicted murderer, he was acquitted today of a double murder. And, but he still got a lifetime to be in prison. I don't know if he's exhausted all of his appeals. He was found not guilty. This is from NBC News, NBC Sports. I don't know why I have a daggone, can y'all still see me? Because, shoot, I hate that happened. How do I? Oh, there we go. Okay, so he was New England Patriot tight end. He was on trial for a double murder. He was found not guilty of murdering Daniel De Abro or Safrio Furtado, and was also found not guilty of witness intimidation charges. He was accused of killing these men. He was previously convicted in April 2015 on first-degree murder charges in the shooting death of Odin Lloyd. He has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole as a result of that conviction. I just don't understand. The boy got rage issues, y'all. Mom and daddy should have seen that. Should have got him hooked up. So, Aaron, I mean, I would say congrats, but damn, you... I don't know, maybe some appeals process. Maybe you can find a Brady problem. I don't know. Somebody withheld some evidence. I don't know. I forgot to mention this last week in my last Diva Disturbed. Did y'all know that Jimmy Walker, a.k.a. JJ Kid Dynamite, him and Ann Coulter's supposed to be hanging out and kicking it? I was like, what the hell? Ann Coulter and Skeletor Coulter, Miss I am uber conservative and I seem to hate black people, but I like black men. I could see that for her. I'm going to tell you, I went to law school with a chick that was like that. She did not like women of color, but she loved black men. Couldn't stand us, would ignore us, not even acknowledge us. But if it was a black man standing there, oh baby, she was talking to him. Okay, I just wanted to plug that in. That is shocking. Now we're going to talk about breakups real quick. Tanaka and Mariah are over. Who didn't see that coming? Apparently, according to the blogs and the headlines, Tanaka was a little jealous of Mariah's relationship with her ex-husband, Nick Cannon. Boo-boo, that's the father of her twins. Of course they're going to be cordial in front of the kids. They share kids. See, you're young and you're dumb, and here's a word of advice, because he can no longer dance for Miss Mariah. Never ever shit where you eat. That's good advice. Take it from the diva. That's going on. T.I. and Tiny, I guess it's getting vicious out here. Now, I thought, based upon what I heard on Hollywood Squares, I don't know how long ago it was taped, though, or filmed, but I know that T.I. basically expressed that he had no intentions of giving up on his marriage. Well, apparently he has, because marriage is a little bit too hard for T.I. During an interview with Angie Martinez, I think it was, I forgot which station she's on, but I think it's out of Atlanta. He was saying that, he makes a better friend. Him and Tiny are going to be working as co-parents with their kids. And that marriage is just a distraction because he just can't do all. He can't be lovey-dovey and all of that. So basically he's trying to say he's a provider. But to me, that's code for I don't like the responsibility of being a husband. This woman has stood by you when your dumb ass went to jail for some stupid stuff, or prison. She almost died, which I think Tiny had a stroke when she had that miscarriage with the baby girl that y'all had. And so I guess loyalty doesn't mean anything. But then again, I'm not going to judge because honestly, we don't know what went on inside that marriage. Yeah, the cameras were rolling for family hustle, but at the same time, we don't know what else was going on in that marriage, right? We just don't know. Omarosa Billy Goat. She got married in D.C. at her dad at Trump International Towers in D.C. And she married some reverend. I said, I hope he lived to tell the tale of what it was like being with Omarosa Billy Goat. What is his name? Let's see. TMZ reports that Omarosa married Pastor John Allen Newman this past Saturday. She was originally supposed to get married in Florida last month, but postponed the ceremony after alleged death threats. Trump didn't want that many black folk down at his winter White House. It's one thing to have one or two of y'all as arm candy. It's another to have about 300 guests down there, okay? But I would say congratulations. Oh, by the way, I noticed that my girl Phaedra Parks was down at the wedding. I was like, oh my God, Phaedra, please don't tell me you hang out with Omarosa Billy Goat. There's other topics, y'all. Tyrese. I want him to just shut the hell up and sing. Don't talk. Just sing. Okay? Because your ass keeps saying dumb ass stuff against women. And your timing is horrible. And I see that the producers of this, oh God, what is this? Fast and Furious 12, 20, 30, 40, 50. I don't know how many times we going to be fast and furious. But he needs to stop being fast and furious and loose with his lips because it's going to cost him. Your audience, the majority of us are black females, okay? And I'm not saying that, the context in which he gives, he always says, I'm talking about this particular subset of women. I've had a brief interaction with Tyrese. I was there for the taping of one of the segments on the show he did with Reverend Ron. He's very annoying. He's like a little kid that constantly needs attention and needs to be validated all the time. And so I think he pops off and says a lot of this stuff because he just needs attention. I don't get it. He said he appreciates all the single women out there. And he said, I'm going to tell you all right now, and this might be harsh. Sluts, skeezers, hoes, tramps, and overly aggressive, promiscuous women, they are never without a man because they don't have no standards. First of all, that's bad English if that's what he said. Because they don't have standards. The no was totally unnecessary. They ready to have sex with any and everything, but they want to have sex with them. But when you are single, you actually love yourself. You know your value and your self-worth. You hold out until God sends you what's yours. So sometimes they be talking mess to women that are single that I have to respect for them, because if you're single and you might say, I've been single for a couple of years, whatever the case may be, you actually holding out because you have your value. You have women that are active out in these streets. They're going to lunches and dinners every night, private planes, mega yacht. It's cracking. They're never without. However, it comes with the cost. You're going to put a lot of miles on yourself down there. Come on. Like so many other people have pointed out, a Twitter person commented and said, well, what about the men that's sleeping with these women? What you got for them? Because basically, to me, what he sounded like, who was that? Ice Cube had a song, Bitches Ain't Nothing But Hoes and Tricks, or something like that. To me, that's what he's saying. And, you know, we've always talked about this, about the dynamics of men and women in general, is that women can sleep around, but we sluts and hoes. Men do it, oh, that's just boys being boys. And it's just like, no, it's just him being a hoe. Okay. And for Tyrese to be sitting there, it seems like ever since he got married, he just feels like now he just done found his queen to be, which by the way, he wants y'all to know, she is 46% black. Oh, that 46%, I bet the Breakfast Club was looking at him like, because Ludacris was looking at him doing this interview that he did with the Breakfast Club about his wife being 46% black, was like, Ninja, you sound crazy. And he do. He sound crazy. And I'm just like, what is it about you? Here's the thing with Tyrese. I really believe that Tyrese has self-hate in his heart and mommy issues. We know he grew up in Watts. I don't know all the details about how hard it was growing up being raised by a single mom. But I feel like he feels like now I have money, I can peel that part of my life off and get with this woman who, I mean, his wife is beautiful, but I can tell from what I saw in one of the videos he had posted, it looked like she was annoyed with him too. I was like, we'll see how long this marriage lasts. Maybe she get a baby out of it and leave. I don't know. It's just something about him. He's just annoying. And I'm like, just stop talking. You know, you need to address the men folk too. Because some of them are out here doing God knows what with whomever. I mean, just watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I mean, a lot of that is staged. But I'm just saying, it's staged, but it's art imitating life. Because there's men out here, they just, you know, they got 2 and 3 girlfriends. And that's how you end up on the ID channel. Because shit, you have these stories out here where one girl find out about the other and then want to go kill the other woman. But the other woman don't even know you coming or around. She thinks she the only one. I mean, it's just like men do this stuff. It's a game. And like I told other people, they really need to take time out. It's an old book, but men have been doing this shit for years. Michael Basin's book, How and Why Men Cheat. Just read it. Some people do it for the thrill of the hunt. Another thing that I think that Tyrese doesn't think about when he leaves this out of his dialogue and he immediately starts calling women hoes and tricks and sluts. Sometimes there's a story behind why these women are the way that they are. You don't know what they've been through in their lives. Especially women that have been molested or raped at very young ages. They tend to engage in bad behavior or promiscuous behavior. It could be a mental defect. They could be bipolar or you just don't know why people do. We don't know the story behind why people are the way that they are. And yeah, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she does that. And then some people just own their sexuality. Some women I like having sex. So there you go. Does that make them a hoe? I don't know. To each his own. I know I don't want to be out there flapping in the wind like that. But some people do. They just, I mean, it's par for the course. And I'm sure that in his time, in his day, Tyrese was running all up in them females. So I'm just like, you need to just go ahead and own your shit and worry about what goes on in your household, okay? But bless his heart, we gonna pray for brother Tyrese that he just learned how to pick up a microphone and sing. You don't need to talk no more. You really, let me shut up. Judges being murdered. So I didn't know this. My friend inboxed me. We lost 2 judges, 2 prominent judges in large cities. They were perhaps, well, one for sure we know was murdered. One, it's the jury's still out on that. Like, was it a suicide? Was it murder? Foul play? But rest in peace to Judge Raymond Myles. He was gunned down in front of his house, and his companion that was with him was wounded. So the judge was involved in the case of the 1993 massacre at a Brown's Chicken fast food restaurant in Palatine, Illinois. He was also involved in the case against William Balfour. That's the young man who killed Jennifer Hudson's family, basically her sister, her mom, and brother, and her nephew. So he's had some pretty high profile cases. The young man that was arrested was Joshua Smith, age 37. He was charged with attempted first degree murder and obstruction. It was a video home surveillance system that played a key role in them tracking down the car. That was believed to be used in the attempted robbery, but they don't think that it was a robbery. They just think that it probably had something to do with the case, because this particular judge was very active in gun cases. And you know that Chicago, it's really one area of Chicago, and I forgot which area it is, but it's very violent. And he was trying to work with the people in those communities and get these people off the street that are causing these violent issues. So rest in peace to him. Tragedy. Meanwhile, in the Hudson River, Judge Sheila Abdus-Salaam, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, who, by the way, is not Muslim. She just has a Muslim-sounding name, people. You know, I said, well, hell, I guess I could be considered Muslim. My name is Afia, which is Muslim, African. So, you know, it's my middle name. They're really, oh, she must be African. No, I mean, I'm of African descent. I'm sure of that, but I'm Mississippi born and Texas raised. She was the first black female judge on New York's highest court, and that is an honor and a privilege. She was found dead on Wednesday in the Hudson River. My friend shared with me an article today where they believe that it may be suicide on her part because her brother and her mother both committed suicide around the same time of year. But because I know a little bit about her background and the types of cases that she operated under, apparently police didn't stand a chance with her. She made them accountable for their bad behavior. And, of course, you can make it look like a suicide. You know how to stage a crime scene if you're in the police department. I was like, this is like Angela Lansbury murder, she wrote. Anybody can see that. But, I mean, again, we don't know. The investigation is ongoing. She was only 65 years old. She was found a few blocks from her home in Harlem. It's being investigated as a suicide. She was reported missing by her husband, Gregory Jacobs, the day before. The NYPD could not confirm the details of her death, but said there was no sign of trauma or struggle. Well, if somebody pushed you off into the river, there might not be no struggle. I'm just saying. Police said the final cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner. She was appointed by Governor Cuomo. Where did she go to school? She attended Columbia Law School and graduated in 1977. That was a very good year. She worked as a public defender at one time. She was vegan or vegetarian. She became a judge in 1992 when she was elected to the New York Civil Court. Governor David Paterson appointed her to the Appellate Division in 2009. And then 4 years later, Governor Andrew Cuomo appointed her to the highest court in the state, the Court of Appeals. At her swearing-in ceremony, her former law school classmate, the former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, attended. So she was involved in a lot of various litigation cases and that type of thing. So prayers up for her family. Also, we're going to be sending up prayers for the Murphy family. As you know, earlier this week, Charlie Murphy, unbeknownst to the majority of us out here, especially, it's just really sad. Charlie Murphy was only 57 years old, and he left an indelible mark on all of our lives. I had to go back and watch Chappelle's show some more. And I always watch these particular clips. And the irony of it is, and this is just me and my numbers, April 12th is his date of death. And as we know, the anniversary of the Great Purple One is coming up on April 21st. And him and Prince were friends. And April is just a hard month for me in general. My second semester of law school, during finals, one of my favorite people, one of my favorite aunts passed away at the very end of April. So April is hard for me. And when one of your favorite artists passed away too, meaning Prince, it's hard. And then when Charlie Murphy, I found out he had passed away, I kind of lost the day after that, because it's just like, wow, he was 57 too. Prince was 57. And then we lost Don Rickles like the week before. As far as being a comedian, these are people that influence me. And I'm so grateful that 2 years ago, I did get to see Charlie Murphy perform at the fabulous Forum for the Comedy Get Down, which included like George Lopez, D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer. I think there's probably somebody else I'm missing, and Charlie Murphy. So rest in peace to Charlie Murphy. Thank you so much for the characters that you gave us. I mean, I know a lot of people love his true Hollywood stories, Rick James and Prince, but I loved him in the Mad Real World when he was Tyrese. Okay, that was my dude. Okay, we gonna need this bed for my dude. No, Katie stays. I was like, oh my God. So thank you, Dave Chappelle, for really bringing him to prominence. But, I'm just praying for his family. His wife died a few years ago from cervical cancer, and then for him to die a few years after that from leukemia is just so sad to hear. But I think that's all I have. Let me check my notes real quick. These are the things that are disturbing the diva, but let me look. Okay. So that's it. I want to thank you guys who did take time out to just watch, like the video. I still need to review Greenleaf. I'm telling y'all, Greenleaf, if you are not watching it, it's on. You will get your life, okay? Because, baby, I was like, oh, Jesus. Yes, Lord. See, that's another reason why I will not be dating a minister, like, never, ever. If you become a minister where we married, I might have to question, might have to question you a little bit. But anywho, thank you guys for joining. Tamiko, Lance, Tracy, Miss Jackson, Coco, Miss Pat, Brandy, Tracy, Maylee, Robert McLean, Millie, Wendy, who else did I miss? Ginevra joined y'all, so I thought I scrolled past somebody's name. I was like, oh my God. So my cousin Chauncey, I saw that you were on here earlier. So anywho, you guys have a fabulous night. Thank you for all who prayed for Miss Pumpkin. She seems to be doing better, but she still has some challenges getting up the steps. So I can see now it's her her right front paw. So I'm going to have to take her back to the vet next week and get that looked at. But I think it just might be sore. I don't think anything's broken because I've squeezed it and she doesn't wince or anything. So I think it's just sore, like sprained maybe. Everybody who can, let's just pray for our country. Let's pray for this world. Pray that the Congress people get their shit together and get Angry Wig out the office, because I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to be sitting at my desk and get blown to smithereens because I ain't have shit to do. By the way, anybody watching this that's around the world thinking about coming for America, we didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't even vote for the man, okay? The majority of us did not vote for him. You go find them electoral college people. That's who put him in office. Because we didn't ask for him, okay? We don't want to be blowing up nothing. Okay, you go get them. Don't come for us. Because we just citizens. I'm just trying to make it, huh? Can I just pass the bar exam and practice for about 50 years? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Speaking of which, I need to pray over that too. Because, oh, Jesus, these classes and how much it costs to register for the bar exam is ridiculous. I'm like, y'all gonna have me out here doing something strange for a little piece of change for this $700 I gotta come up with for my dog surgery. She got insurance, and the insurance will bill the vet, but the vet's like, we don't take billing. I'm like, where am I gonna get $700 from? Okay. Then on top of that, $5,500 for a bar prep class, and probably about $800. I'm scared to even see how much it costs now to register for the California bar. But anyways, y'all remember that. Keep that in your prayer. But I'm thinking about it. There is no definite, because honey, last time I almost lost my damn mind when I took the bar exam. But I'm thinking about working on some other things too. So stay tuned where I can still be useful and helpful to people. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for joining. And thank you guys for the compliments. This is one of my new girls. You can get her on Sam's Beauty for $7 right now. She part of the Janet Hair Collection, which is a wig brand I totally recommend. Okay? Let me stop talking like that because that is not how I talk. But, and by the way, I don't know, I posted about it, but I don't know if any of you guys remember, but at the end of this month, I was part of a web series, WFK Radio, and my friend Akello entered the series into the LA Web Fest, and yours truly was nominated for Best Voiceover in a Comedy Web Series. Y'all see, I'm just like, I don't even know. Because, like, I was really, really shocked. So, at the end of the month, I think it's on the 29th, whatever Saturday, the last Saturday of the month is, we will be going out to hang out and have a good time. And who knows, maybe I win. And personally, I would prefer doing voiceover work anyways. That way, when I go on job interviews, they don't have to know that, I do acting or whatever. But that's all I've got. Thank you guys for supporting me. I have been Miss Sophia the Diva. And, wait a minute. So anyways, I'm back to reading again. And I wanted to share this particular passage with you guys. So I thought this was very interesting. I'm reading Big Magic Creative Living. And it's by the same woman. I think her name is Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And one of the things that touched on me, and I realize I do this, and I'm always working on improving myself, but one of the things that struck me in my reading of this is this particular passage right before I got on here. And it says, quit your complaining. It's not the world's fault that you wanted to be an artist. Because y'all know my ultimate goal is to be like a fashion stylist and manage talent, that type of thing. It's not the world's job to enjoy the films you make, because this was a letter written to a guy who wrote to his favorite director complaining about how he's being rejected over and over and over again. Fill in where films is, but let me read it from the top again. Quit your complaining. It's not the world's fault that you want to be an artist. It's not the world's job to enjoy the films you make, and with films, just put in whatever your creative thing is. And it's certainly not the world's obligation to pay for your dreams. Nobody wants to hear it. Steal a camera if you must, or brush, or whatever the heck it is you do. Don't steal jokes, though, comedians. Or scripts, writers, or books. Okay? But stop whining and get back to work. So I'm going to leave you guys with that, because I realize I complain a lot, but I'm just going to stay diligent and continue to work towards my dreams in my creative space. But that's all I've got. I'm finally done. Again, thank you guys for joining me on a Friday night. I have been Miss Sophia the Diva, and you guys have been all that. Hey.